Hey there, everybody. Time for another Rural by Choice chat, and I'm joined by Candace Rastet of Lake Region Electric Co-op. How are you today, Candace?
I'm doing great. How are you, Eric?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. Thanks for taking some time to chat. Let's start with your story. Where you don't have to give me a physical address, but where do you live? How did you end up living there? Did you move away and come back? Have you always been here? What's your Rural by Choice story, I guess?
Absolutely. I grew up a mile north outside of Otter Tail City. I grew up on a farm, living in the country, loving life, loving the water. And after high school, I went to MSUM in Moorhead, and I was there for 10 years, even after I graduated with both of my degrees, and just being young, living life, being with friends. And after a while, I just got this itch to just be home full time, permanent time. And so I started looking, and I looked for about 2.5 years to find a house that would be perfect for me. And I currently live in Otter Tail City. So I'm right by the family farm, right by family. And I just wanted to be closer to what I knew, what I love, what I enjoyed so much about growing up. And that's the freedom and just the kind of the peace of mind that comes with it, not only for the family and the friends, but just having that sense of just calmness being out of the city. And yes, there are times you miss being at your Hobby Lobby or your TJ Maxx, the convenience, but it's probably a good thing not to be that close anymore. But it just makes you enjoy life so much more. And so it's just been the greatest thing. And I've been back for about a year and a half now.
So not that long, really.
Not that long. I used to come back quite a bit on weekends just to kind of be back at the farm, help my parents, be with the family. But it just is so much more not having to pack a bag. Now it's just, oh, I can drive 5 minutes and find them again.
Gotcha. So okay, so let's pretend somebody's out there and maybe they're familiar with Otter Tail County, maybe they're not, but maybe they're in the same shoes you were in. They live in a metropolitan area or a larger, bigger community, and they're thinking about making that move, right? Like they're thinking about moving to a rural place. What and maybe they don't have a connection like you did. You kind of had family here, right? But like what's step one? Where should somebody start, or what's step one of that process look like?
Find a location that makes you happy. And when you find that, pieces just tend to fall in place. It can easily take some time to find the house that suits your budget, your needs, and your wants. But once you find where you're happy, you can find the location to live. You can find the job that makes you happy and the community organizations that can help fulfill your life. So I sit on different boards. I volunteer quite a bit with different organizations. And so I'm with people all the time who are transplants. And I always ask, what brought you here and why? Some people have the stories of, this is where my grandparents had a lake cabin. I would spend summers here, or I knew this person. I maybe followed somebody here. Some people just thought it was just a nice place to be. And you hear these stories and people fall in love. And when they fall in love with a place, it just makes it so much easier to find what you need to be able to stay there.
Awesome, I love that. So speaking of organizations, you are very active, and you happen to, full disclosure, you're on the board for Otter Tail Lakes Country Association. What was it? What brought you to that, or what attracted you to want to be a part of the leadership of Otter Tail Lakes Country Association?
I'm all about benefiting the community. When you have a rich community that you live in, it just is so much more fulfilling, not only for you, but the people around you. And when you can have that like holistic wraparound perspective to be able to help people in different capacities, it's just so rewarding and it just fills you with a different type of joy. And so when there was the opportunity to join OTLCA, it just was a no-brainer for me. I get to work with people in different capacities around the county and make a difference. It can be small differences, it can be big differences, but either way, there is such an impact around the people you live with, work with, and play with that it's a no-brainer for me. And so OTLCA has just encaptured a lot of that through the various capacities that it serves in. And being able to work with community leaders just impacts different parts of your life that you wouldn't think. somebody I can sit on a board with or know through OTLCA, I can find them at a rod and gun club meeting, or I can see them at a Henning basketball game last week, and so it just helps you build connections and meet people in a different capacity too. And you're able to transfer what you do professionally to what you do privately and assist people in those ways too.
Awesome. So and I'll kind of ask again back to kind of your life and the dream that you've built. What does Candace do for fun? Winter is here. It's winter time, and some folks are, it's a lake life is, lake life in the summer is one thing, and lake life in the winter is a little bit different. What do you do in the wintertime to get out? Do you stay indoors? Do you get out? Like, what's your wintertime activities look like?
This winter has been a little weird, Eric, and I think you know that. And so normally in the winter, snowmobiling is my bread and butter. I just absolutely love that. I'm not a good ditch rider, but you get me on a nice trail and I am ready. But between that, being able to ice fish, throw the tip ups out and just have like a family grill out on the ice is just fantastic. And there are other weird, fun winter activities that you wouldn't know about. Like Underwood, on Sundays, they host ice racing. And I used to be an ice racer. I used to have a little bit of a championship going on. Wasn't much, so I can't brag about it too much. But there are fun winter activities surrounding you everywhere. You wouldn't think that you would enjoy watching people race around the ice in a car, but it is fantastic, and it gives you a good excuse to bring out the grill and cook up some hot dogs or brats. But there are so many fun things to do outside. But inside, that's when you binge your good TV. That's when you start your crafts. That's when you read a good book. So there's just, for me, a good medley of all of it. And if you can find yourself even with a winter campfire outside, you can't beat it. It might be cold, the wind might hurt your face, but when you're cooking a s'more in 1-degree weather outside, there's just something about it, Eric.
Conquer the cold. Conquer the cold.
Conquer the cold.
So now I want to see a picture of you, or is there pictures that exist of you racing?
Evidence. There is evidence.
I gotta see that. So let's talk a little bit about where you work. Lake Region Electric Co-op. Did I say that right?
You got it.
Okay. What is Lake Region Electric Co-op, and I guess how big is it from an, and I don't need an exact number, but how would you describe the footprint from an employee standpoint? How big is Lake Region Electric Co-op?
We are a pretty big electric co-op. So we have around 65 employees, and we serve about 28,000 meters, and that's around 24,000 members. So it is a pretty large service territory. We have over, 1,000 lakes. We have members from every state in the United States. We have a very diverse typography. So a lot of cooperatives or electric areas, they don't have the lakes, the swamps, the prairie, the farmland. They don't have a lot of it, and we have a little bit of anything and everything. But what is so special about an electric cooperative is that we serve our rural members, and that is a really big deal. And we have a very smaller, limited amount of members, or what regular people would call customers, per mile. But we're unique in the fact that our members have a financial part within our cooperative. We were built off the back of members in 1937, and we just have a beautiful story to tell. And so we have linemen, we have engineers, we have customer service, we have finance, we have people like me. And so what's beautiful about Electric Cooperative is that we are not only able to serve our members, but we are able to serve our communities through different programs like Operation Roundup, where we can give out, donation awards to people who apply. And it's simply from people rounding up the change on their electric bill. And we are able to do so much with those funds that benefit people all around our service territory.
Is there, let's talk about the opportunities that exist. I'm not trying to pigeonhole you into this job is open today or this job is open today, but again, back to that person who's thinking about moving to a rural place, what are the types of opportunities that exist at Lake Region Electric Co-op?
There is a really diverse role of the opportunities that are here. I mean, obviously, if you are a line worker, right then and there, that takes up quite a bit of our employee type base. But we have engineering, we have accountants, people in finance, people who are just good at talking with others in our customer service fields. We even have dispatchers who have to work hand in hand with the crews to ensure that they know exactly where they are, what lines they're working on, to ensure that there are no awful accidents that could occur. And so there are a lot of very high level opportunities within a cooperative. And it is just a wonderful working space because you know that you play such an important and integral role in what people need every single day that it is just a feeling I can't describe. I mean, you'll get members who just say, thank you. You allowed me to have my oxygen machine today. And that is a beautiful thing that you can provide people with what they need to have for their daily living by helping them get electricity. And so there are so many opportunities. I mean, anything even from a mechanic. We have to have an in-house mechanic who ensures that our bucket trucks and our equipment are running smoothly. We have electricians who help run our generator program. So we allow people to purchase generators if they would like a backup source of electricity in case there were to be a storm that would knock out power. So there is such a range. I mean, even myself, I'm in marketing, you know, and with that, I'm able to use my marketing skills. I'm able to use my MBA. And there's just such a range of education and on-hand experience that you can learn. And the cooperative really is a beautiful place to work.
All right. And I'm sure there's a little, well, and maybe I'm overstating it, but there might be a little bit of a hero factor, right? Like times, weather, you mentioned it, weather happens, things go bad, and you guys, I assume, band together, all hands on deck, and get the power back on. That's got to be a reward that maybe other places don't offer. Is that accurate, or am I making that up?
Very much. And you bring that up in such a timely manner. And so Dakota Valley Electric Cooperative, there in North Dakota, they just experienced one of the worst ice storms that some of our linemen have ever seen. And there were, I think, even at one point, 2,000 to 4,000 people without power. And they are not a larger co-op by any means, but we actually were able to send 7 of our linemen there, and they were there for about a week. And they said the devastation is real. I actually just got some quotes from employees about it, and they said, this has been the worst thing that I've seen in my career. And they were so eager to help because the first thing they said is, it is a dead of winter. These people have no power. We need to get out there immediately and help. And there were, I want to say, over 1,200 poles down that DVEC Dakota Valley had been counting. There were 115 linemen from different co-ops and their co-op helping to ensure that these people got power. And our linemen jumped to it instantly. There were even more who wanted to go out there, but obviously we have to ensure that we have enough staff for our system too. But there is a very important role when you have that niche education that you can go out there and help people when they're at their weakest and at their most vulnerable. It's an incredible thing. And they said that they were so blessed to be able to help there. And they said that the kindness they experienced from people was beyond, and so it's just, there very much is a hero factor when you're able to go and help people when they can't help themselves.
Anything else that you think is important that people should know about you, your story, about where you work or how you play? I mean, anything else that you want to make sure that people know before we go?
Yeah, my big thing is, don't be afraid of making a change. I mean, I lived in the city. It's what I knew. Yes, I moved back to Otter Tail, but I changed careers. I made the leap. I did it. And I am forever grateful of it. Don't be afraid that moving to a small town, there's not going to be any nightlife or any action or any fun. There is so much to do. It's unbelievable. I mean, whether it's a craft fair on a Saturday or a fun ice tournament one day, there are things that it's just so much fun. And you're able to do things that make a larger scale impact. I mean, I've been on a board for Humane Society for many years now, and knowing that even I can help make that small change, and I've met people who are going to be friends for life in a capacity I never would have dreamed of. On a Saturday, you can find me giving out free bird seed with the Rod and Gun Club. I mean, there are so many ways that you can make an impact. Don't be afraid to move to a small town because there is so much love, there is so much generosity, and the type of people you will find here are ones that won't let you go. And yes, you will be invited over for coffee or your next Tastefully Simple party, but it is just so much fun and such a thing I never thought I would experience. And I've been extremely blessed to be back, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Well, we're blessed to have you back. And thank you for your leadership at OTLCA and elsewhere. So again, thanks for your time. Thanks for taking some time to chat. I'm sure we'll see you in person soon. And thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Eric.